Okay, so who as a brand feels they're over-fixated on Facebook and Google as primary channels for spend and routes to market? Who's wanting to kind of diversify away from those channels? So we see this a lot, and obviously, you know, as I've explained, the whole of Bolt Digital was built on that Facebook algorithm. I've been extremely pro-Facebook for a number of years, and it's delivered some amazing results for brands. Although I do feel that Mark Zuckerberg has an amazing talent for moving money from businesses into his own bank account. But anyway, that's by the by. Anyway, it's no longer quite the same as it was, not just because of, you know, whatever it is, Apple updates, but just competitiveness, number of brands, all sorts of factors. And we always look out for innovative solutions, which is why I'm really excited by our panel that is about to start right now. So, because each of these guys brings a whole new different solution into kind of how we think about marketing and some of the actions we can take to remove reliance away from those from Facebook and Google. So, Tom, starting with you, would you like to introduce yourself and tell everybody what you do?
Yeah, hi everyone, and apologies for the front row because I did just spill water down myself as I was walking on, so not the best start, but that's the sort of thing that I do. So yeah, Tash says I'm Tom, I'm the founder and CEO of Herdify. We are a behavioural analytics business, so we help DTC brands use behavioural science to acquire customers cheaper, but also acquire better quality customers. It's all based on the fact that humans are not rational decision makers. We're actually herd animals. It's why I'm always branded with a herd on me, Herdify. But the serious point there is the people that surround us day to day inform our decisions much more than sort of ourselves independently. And what I mean by that is if you show an ad to a person randomly or someone whose 5 of their friends use a product, that person is much more likely to move for you as a brand. So if you can identify them, you're in a really strong place.
Amazing. Steffi, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us who you are and what you do?
Yes. Hi, I'm Steffi, marketing exec at Dyzio, and Dyzio is an insights and influencer tracking platform, but we've also just released a new feature called Dyzio Shopfluence, which is specifically for e-commerce brands wanting to scale their gifting campaigns. So what we do, we track influencer content, we send out discount codes, send gifts, generate reports so you can analyze your campaigns, see what influencers are performing best, and basically inform your future strategies.
Fantastic. And Joel, welcome.
Cool. Thanks for having me, everyone. So Joel Williams, Managing Director of ChaChing. ChaChing is an out-and-out performance channel for brands, advertisers, agencies alike to purchase on a CPA basis. So all clicks, all impressions, all views are all completely free. What we also do is we offer 90% of the cost per acquisition that would have previously gone to big tech, and we give that money back to your customers. Naturally, you know, the purchase incentive will ultimately boost conversion, but it also helps tap into, you know, helping solve the cost of living crisis here in the UK, and, you know, allows brands to partner directly with their customers, maybe at the expense of big tech. Yeah.
I know. I mean, I love this solution. Right, we'll have to go back round the three of you because I get so excited about all of these. But Tom, coming to you first. So I was at, is Give here yet from Surrey? Is he in the room? He's not here. Okay, so Give is speaking later from a brand called Surrey. We were at a dinner, and it turned out that Rupert from Delilah's sister is a mad on-the-ground advocate of the Surrey toothbrush. Okay, she's been going around all her friends, like anyone, promoting this toothbrush. Now, the guys from Surrey will be here later. They have no idea that on the ground there's this passionate advocate literally doing all this work for them. But this is the type of behaviour that Herdify is picking up, allowing you then to target these geographical areas where these ambassadors or these natural ambassadors are actually at work for your brand. So do you want to explain how the platform works?
Yeah, and you've hit on it really well, right? So if we look at the category leaders, they occupy this envious position that they have near ubiquitous brand awareness. You know, we look at the Cokes and everyone knows about them, but actually every brand in this room has brand awareness and these brand communities. They just are going to be at a smaller level. If you can tap into them and you know where they are, you're not coming across as a cold, rational decision. Buy this toothbrush because it's going to clean your teeth. You know, the teeth. That's a rational argument. If 10, 12 of your friends are using it, like, hey, you're going to use it. So what we effectively do that is it's on a brand by brand basis. So it's a brand level segmentation. We suck in your shopping data from your D2C store, so Shopify, for example. all GDPR compliant. We don't use any personally identifiable information, and using the same algorithms that you would use to predict and model a pandemic. It's the same science. We can effectively look where the influence is geographically for your brand, give you that to target it. It's a bit abstract. To just give you a quick example. So one of our customers, Abel & Cole, who you may or may not know, food delivery business, we effectively give them those locations. They then put that into their channels. This is a door drop example. And then by targeting these communities, they got 120% uplift in response rates. So it's really showing that these communities are not just theoretical, they really do drive much higher kind of customer acquisition.
And I think what's interesting is the likes of Abel & Cole, you'd be like, well, of course Abel & Cole have got communities, like they're so famous. But you've imported a lot of brand data in, and they've all got communities, haven't they?
Yeah, we work with a tea company, tiny tea company. Most people have probably never heard of them, and you'll appreciate that if you put loose leaf tea into Google, most of the big companies are kind of outbidding them. But actually, by targeting their keywords, actually in these areas where the communities, the scenario is you're at someone's house. Hey, this is a nice cup of tea. They tell you the brand, and you forget it by the time you get home. When you search for it, the mental trigger's there. They were able to. It's the first time they've got non-branded keywords working. Tiny brand, as I say, everyone's got them. You might be the biggest brand on a street, or a town, but you're going to have those brand communities, and you should harness them on the way to be the kind of the global domination brand that you want to be.
Amazing. So Joel, on to ChaChing. So I love this as well. I love all this innovation. So basically, if you don't understand what ChaChing does, we all accept, who's like happy to pay like £25 CPA to acquire a customer? I mean, not happy, but who reluctantly
Come on,
pays
be honest, come on.
CPA to acquire a customer. Okay, so we're all used to that, right? So in all our business models, we have this element of a cost per acquisition cost, which as a brand we're prepared to pay. What ChaChing's doing, which I think is highly innovative, and this is going to be an education piece for the British consumer, is giving that money, the majority of it, back to the consumer to then re-spend. Do you want to explain?
Yeah, so it's worth mentioning that ChaChing is an app. So we'll be live on the App Store in November. So you'll essentially go onto the app. You'll be able to search via individual categories or individual brands. To date, we've got just shy of 1 million products on the platform, around about 150 brands. And what we do with the brands is, we allow them to set a fixed cost per order. So you only pay for completed orders. I think one of the key USPs here is, in the event of a return, the full cost per acquisition is given back to the brand. So there's no ad wastage. You're not going to get any of that back from notable other platforms. And I think that's one of the key USPs. Another USP is, the fact that between 20 and 40% of any transaction online to acquire a new customer is usually given to the big technology companies. What we do is we allow, brands to give that money directly back to their customers simply for shopping via ChaChing. So it's, a big kind of cultural shift that we're, expecting. From January, we're going to be doing around about £1 million a month on our own marketing activities, on TV ads, print, the usual areas. And the main ambition of that is just to make the consumer aware that this money does exist and this money is in the ecosystem. We've managed to secure people like Sir Tim Berners-Lee, who's head of our board. Sir Tim has naturally come on board because, he built the World Wide Web in order to create a very fair ecosystem for everybody to play. But unfortunately for him, there's only been a few real winners. So he's going to be a large part of, our PR and our marketing strategy.
And I think it's an educational, an interesting educational challenge for the public, because I'm very mass media, and I began my career at the Daily Mail. I feel I know the public extremely well. I think if they got wind of the fact that with each time they buy a pair of trainers, £25 goes to Facebook, they'd be like, well, that's ridiculous, and be very angry about that, actually. And if you were able to say £25 goes to Facebook, but if you do this, it will come back to you, I see that as something that would go viral.
Yeah.
How are you planning on doing that education piece? It's quite a challenge, a big consumer behaviour change.
Yeah, so naturally we're going to be doing, some programmatic ads and hyper targeted. But we do have integrations with NatWest, Mastercard, the AA, and Mumsnet, and that's making up the bulk of our 2 million users when we launch. We're going to be directly integrated into the NatWest app, so that you can see on any transaction, if you purchased baby products, for example, the savings that you could have made by simply shopping via ChaChing. And I think just to add to that, the parenting segment is something that's really imperative to our launch because, why is it that, an average parent in any part of the UK is paying between 20 and 40% on any transaction to the big tech companies, of which are not paying, much tax in the UK. Whereas instead of that money could go directly back to, a family that needs that to support the family.
It's going to be an interesting campaign when it starts. I can't wait to see how it lands. So, Steffi, just coming on to Dyzio and influencer marketing, everyone's looking to broaden their activities to reduce CPA and get more reach and reach people in more places. What role does Dyzio play in that?
So, I think reducing CPA, I think building a community of micro-influencers and gifting them free products would be great to reduce CPA. But you get this logistical nightmare handling admin, so sending out emails, tracking their content, sending out discount codes. Sorry, I may have said that already, but
no, you're right. It is an absolute logistical nightmare.
It is a nightmare.
We're doing an influencer drop now with the Notting Hill businesses, and Maria's here. She'll tell you it's already becoming a logistical nightmare because there's so many people wanting so many things, and they have so many questions.
So the role Dyzio plays, we help automate and generate campaigns and automate the influencer gifting.
Yeah.
To
make it much easier for the brands. So the gifting at scale can be automated.
Yes. So we'll send out the discount codes. We'll email the brands, and we'll just completely simplify the entire process. So when we generate campaigns, brands will be able to see how much the influencers are making, so in terms of EMV, and then when you look at the campaigns, you'll be able to filter out the best performing influencer and how your campaign is doing. So I'd really recommend looking at the best influencer and concentrating on them to get the lowest CPA.
Who's doing influencer marketing already? And who wants to do influencer marketing? Some of you, great. Yeah, I mean, all these things are just logistical challenges for brands to get over. What have been some of the success stories you guys have had?
So a few of you may have heard of Abbott Lion, the jewellery company. So they came to us wanting to scale their gifting program. And a few months ago, they were sending out about 100 gifts a month. And when they started using Dyzio Shopfluence, they started sending out around 1,000 gifts a month. So they really scaled the influencer program. And they had a designated team of people looking for influencer content, trying to contact them, email them. But now Dyzio Shopfluence automates their entire process. So now the designated team looking for content now concentrates on searching for influencers. So,
fantastic.
Yeah, reduce the amount of hours by 1 million.
And everything we look for is always about brands getting more from less, turning cost lines into revenue generating lines and reducing costs. So that's an amazing result. Right, so all three of these guys are around, all great solutions. Make sure you talk to them to find out more. And I think we all can be very excited when we see the adverts land from ChaChing saying, what's it going to say? Dear British public, you've been ripped off.
The slogan is it's payback time, which I think is quite nice. Yeah.
And are you directly calling out the tech company?
Nah, we'll have to avoid that, I think.
Okay, well, thank you so much, you guys. Thank you.